Hello, welcome to today's video where we've all got the same facial hair length for some reason. I'm not sure if we planned that ahead of time or not. I'm apparently in a kitchen and
why are you in the kitchen?
Spud's got a monobrow. I'm not in a kitchen. Anyway, so there's been some news which, unless you were hiding under a rock, you have definitely have heard about this. So Epic Games are going into legal battles with Apple and Google.
Today, we celebrate the anniversary of the Platform Unification Directives. For years, they have given us their songs, their labor, their dreams. In exchange, we have taken our tribute, our profits, our control. This power is ours and ours alone. We shall prevail.
Hey, you. You're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? You walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us. And that thief over there.
Right, so yeah, Epic Games are now suing Apple and Google, and they actually baited Apple and Google into removing them from the store.
Really? So what did Epic actually do to get removed from the store?
I'm so glad that you asked. Well, they decided to slip in an update out of nowhere, the ability to purchase V-Bucks in-game without using the Apple Store or Google Pay, or, they basically slipped it in without prior testing or confirmation that you could just buy currency without paying their cut to Apple or Google, basically. And boy oh boy did Apple and Google lash out. They reacted by removing them from the respective stores, Google Play and what is it on iOS? What's the iOS
Apple
store?
Store.
I don't even know. Apple Store?
Yeah.
Is it this called Apple Store?
It's called Apple Store.
Oh, okay. So some of us here, I believe, are an Apple user. Anyone in particular?
Traitor!
Spartacus?
Sorry.
Do you play Fortnite on your iPhone, Mr. Spartacus?
I don't play Fortnite on my iPhone.
Why not?
Can't now.
I don't believe
Too
you.
late!
Should have got it when you had
Well,
chance.
you can still play it if you have it already installed on your phone, including still buying V-Bucks. Both methods, both through Apple Store and directly to Epic, still work. So you just can't get it anymore or get updates for it. You can still, however, get it on the Samsung Galaxy Store, whatever
You
that's
can
called.
get it on any non-Google
Is it the Play Store or the
store.
Galaxy Store?
You can download it from the internet and install it onto your Android, because Android lets you download whatever, because they're not cucks like Apple. I'm sorry, you can cut that part out. Because they're not cucks like Apple.
Epic did actually hit back with a very well prepared 62-page legal document complaint with an antitrust lawsuit, which, if you don't know what that means, basically means a company practices business in a way that violates trust.
I understood that completely, but for those of us who didn't understand, what actually would that be?
So there's an antitrust act called the Clayton Antitrust Act, whereby a company is prohibited from exclusive dealings, price discrimination, tying and bundling. But the only one that really likely applies here is actually the exclusive dealings, whereby the Clayton Act defines it as requiring a buyer or seller to buy or sell most of or all of a product from a single supplier in such a way that prevents the competitors competing into that market. So, for instance, by not allowing them to kind of, buy it outside, or taking the game off of their store, not allowing people to buy it, because of the whole they're not allowed to do it in game. It's now not allowing Epic to get that money for it, and it's taking away from the competitors.
Can we streamline that?
Right, so enough of that jargon. So basically, through the antitrust laws, they can't do price fixing. They can't pay for delay. They can't bid rigging. They can't bid rigging? Fuck! So basically, according to the antitrust laws, they can't do the following: price fixing, pay for delay, bid rigging, monopolization, unfair competition, market division, group boycotts, exclusive dealings and arrangements, price discrimination, and tying.
Hog tying.
Oh, baby. And Apple have definitely got a monopoly on the iOS, right? It's their store, it's their products, it's their devices. Everything else is cut out of that. So Epic, in fact, made a Fortnite parody video mocking Apple with an advert Apple released from the Macintosh back in the 1980s, 1984, if I remember correctly. They ended the video with their own statement saying, Epic Games has defied the App Store monopoly. In retaliation, Apple is blocking Fortnite from billions of devices. Join the fight to stop the 2020 from becoming 1984.
It's weird. It's like a recruitment video. It's like they're asking people to raise up in arms, pitchforks in the street. Take Apple down.
Everyone build your walls.
We all fight them on the beaches. We all fight them in the trenches.
But at the same time, I thought it was pretty because if anyone's like familiar with Macintosh in the olden days, it was clever taking Apple's own fight against corporate greed and spinning it on them 20 years later, or 30 years later. So like,
yeah, it was showing hypocrisy.
It was pretty clever, I thought, honestly.
So obviously Android, you can install anything from anywhere if you want to, but Apple iOS, you can't physically do it, right? There's no way to get anything on your device without the Apple Store.
Unless you root it, I think.
Unless you jailbreak it.
Yeah.
Within the legalities of the product, as in,
No.
jailbreaking and, not that stuff. So, okay. So, as we say, Apple kicked them off the store because they slipped in a way to buy currency or an in-game microtransaction, basically, without paying the cut to Apple. So obviously they then filed an antitrust lawsuit because obviously Apple have a monopoly, so that makes sense, right? We all understand that from a set standpoint. There's no competition on Apple, sorry. So, but with Android, you can install from elsewhere. So them suing them for antitrust confuses me a little bit. So I don't know if you've seen this, but Tim Sweeney issued a series of tweets where he criticised Google because he says if you install an app as a third party from an external source, not through their store, it comes up saying it's malware, it's this, that. It's very off-putting for users, especially kids attracted to Fortnite. So it's kind of like they're saying they're at a big disadvantage. But they didn't launch on Android originally on Google Play. They came to about a year later. So I think that suggests to me that Google make you pay 30% because if you want something to succeed on their platform, you need to be in their store, right? They're not saying it's the only store you can use, but if you want to succeed, then you really want to be where the users are, which is our store. Which I feel like Epic are making a very tricky way of saying we want to get our products seen. We can't get it seen without Google, so we caved, put it on Google, and now we don't want to pay the 30%. That's kind of the angle a lot of people are taking to this. In a further juncture in this developing thing, so after they pulled the game from the stores, obviously a big hit back with the lawsuit, yada yada, but Apple went an extra step here now. So I don't know if you guys know this bit, but Apple then decided to remove Epic's developer rights. So any other developers that are currently using the Unreal Engine to develop a game for Apple, for their platform, who don't care about this 30% share, they're more than happy to play it, or pay it, sorry. If they're currently developing a mobile game and they want to release it on the iPhone store, Apple Store, they now can't because Apple have taken away their access. Like developers no longer have access to iOS as a platform in Unreal Engine. So it's clever really because obviously Epic are trying to round all the gamers up saying, hey gamers, they're trying to free Fortnite the hashtag free Fortnite thing. They're trying to get all the gamers and companies against it. Microsoft are sort of on board. They're not happy about it either because they're blocking xCloud, if you didn't know this. But that's another touch we'll go on later. But so Apple kind of clever here because they're now trying to get the developers to turn against Epic instead because it's almost Apple obviously getting some pressure and now developers going, do you know what, Epic, drop this because we need to sell our game on the store and we can't now because of what you've done,
I've always been a believer that positive reinforcement is better than negative reinforcement. So this is an attempt for Apple to try and strong arm people who are using Unreal into being in their side of the court. If I was one of those developers and I wasn't under a pressure of like time or money, I'd be like, what the fuck, Apple? I'm not even in this fight. And I'd immediately side with Epic simply because I'm not in the fight. Like, why are you throwing me in a pit where I didn't want to be in? So, like,
if you're about to release a product, guys, but imagine it's like Epic, just stop,
I mean, if you want the money, if you're eager to get you're inches away from getting it on the Apple Store, you can be forced into siding with Apple here. But I think it's a pretty scummy term to make. Like, it's you're forcing people into a fight they didn't want in. So it's
they're punishing people, and they're gonna. It just shows how dangerous a monopoly like they have become doesn't it really?
Yeah,
pretty much. And then curiously
they'd rather
enough,
cut their nose off despite the face.
In case anyone didn't know, Just, I guess, another point on Epic, although you could take it a little bit either way. When they did finally introduce V-Bucks through their own payment system, they cut all the prices by 20% of V-Bucks. So their gain was only a 10% gain. They didn't get that full 30%. They instantly chopped off 20% of the price of V-Bucks, and they took the extra 10% themselves.
They only hold on. This is actually they took off 20%, not the 30%.
No,
they took off 20%.
20%. So they're still getting a 10% gain. But I mean, which is why I said this could go either way. You know, at least I feel like a lot of developers probably would have just kept the full 30%. But at the same time, they didn't give us the full 30%. So
if people have been paying like a tenner all the time anyway, they're not really gonna.
Yeah, they won't notice.
Kind of. Yeah, they won't really care if it goes down to say like, you know.
Now they're like, oh, I only have to pay $8. Cool. So you know, like. It's a good point, but at the same time, you didn't give us the full 30, which I get. I mean, now at the same time, now all the payment processing and all that has to go through them, so there is going to be a little bit more pressure on them. And of course, you want to make a little extra money anyway. That's understandable to an extent. So
this gets further now because Microsoft obviously they haven't jumped on the lawsuit bandwagon just yet, but I imagine they might be soon. But Microsoft now are sort of siding with Epic here, saying that obviously it's a monopoly, it's not fair, it's very unjust, and they're trying to release their xCloud platform onto Apple Store, which Apple have denied.
Yeah.
And it's quite curious actually, because they say you can't have a service on our platform where you don't get the 30% cut, so Apple just don't allow it, which is interesting because if you go on Netflix on Apple Store and you get a Netflix subscription, they don't take a penny from that.
Yeah, they do.
If you go on Amazon, are we sure?
The way that works is they take 30% for the first year, and then after that year they only take 15%. That's for video streaming apps. There's this weird distinction between video streaming and music streaming and gaming. Like it's very I can find it.
I'm obliged to say quickly though that the article I read did not explain that, and it said that Netflix don't take, you know, things like Netflix and other Amazon. You buy stuff on Amazon, which is an in-app purchase.
Okay, see, there's a
they don't take a cut,
there's
right?
a new apparently lane with Amazon actually where they've always had it where you can buy and rent videos. Apparently, if you're buying and renting from Amazon, they do not take a penny. Amazon gets the full cash.
Interesting.
With just Amazon's buying and
because Apple keeps saying during this whole process is that they will not give anyone special exemption.
Except for Amazon.
For different industries. It's that gaming seems to be the one they're clamping down on the most, and then everything else just kind of gets a. If you want it, just
Literally, their whole flagship thing is we won't make exceptions.
And it's like, well, you already have. And this is the other thing about Epic as well. They aren't asking for exception either. They just want a fairer market for everyone. They aren't even claiming damages in this lawsuit, which is probably for PR reasons more than anything else.
Here.
Nice guy, Epic.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not.
If
just,
you want to,
we're just feeling so nice today, guys. You know.
I posted it in planning there. If you want to clip that into the video on like a breakaway or something, I don't know. You know what I mean? Yeah, but they're fucking up gaming industry for whatever reason. Just gaming, like the video industry and the food industry. Those all have. That's another one. Uber and DoorDash. They don't get cut from them as well. Like it's just gaming. It's pretty weird.
Yeah, it's only digital items. So like if you buy a burger on Uber Eats or a physical book in the Amazon app, with Uber and Amazon handling the payments, but you can't do the same with say like a Kindle ebook. So that seems to be more lean towards
gaming and
digital
digital.
items.
Yeah, mainly gaming because I don't know how. Maybe they swung their dick in a different direction, but Amazon not get charged a penny, even though they're like the richest company in the US, is pretty interesting to me. I don't know. I'd like to know how they manage that one.
Conveniently, Apple are planning to release their own Apple Arcade, which is obviously competitor to the xCloud.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
this is where the lawsuit starts getting again, because they're going to say you're stifling competition to make your own platform succeed, which is obviously very bad for that antitrust law we heard earlier.
This is also
And Android have obviously got their own games, haven't they? They've got their own sort of Stadia, I guess.
and this is another
It kind of works. Go ahead.
this is another place where like wires can kind of get crossed as well, because Google Stadia can't be on the Apple Store either. And Google's kind of in the midst of this lawsuit, so they might, in a way, want to side with Epic if they ever want the chance of having Stadia on the Apple.
Can you imagine that? Google, we're suing you, but you're getting sued for the same thing. Ignore us, we're suing you.
So it's a weird crossing of wires with this cloud battle off onto the side there. So
With the Apple Arcade, it's kind of like a Game Pass. So you pay a subscription, you pay £5 a month, and you get access to a massive library of games that you can download and play at any point. Most of these games are actually full paid apps that you can buy individually if you want to. But the incentive there is that you can access nearly any game on the Apple Store that is a part of the arcade for £5 a month.
So what kind of games are we talking? Are we talking like Stadia, like, Assassin's Creed?
Yeah,
Are we talking
Google has the same
Angry
thing.
Birds? What are we talking here?
yeah,
We're talking about, let me see, because it's right
Probably
here.
not
It has
Angry
a
Birds,
slot. So you can have unlimited access to 100 plus ad-free games. Ads are massive on games, and if you pay £5 a month, you can get access to games with no ads. Think about that. Think about the annoyance. Like, I don't know, not many people
But
here
again,
are.
what kind of games
But,
are we
yeah,
talking
like,
about?
like
Is
SpongeBob
this mobile
Party.
games, or is it AAA?
SpongeBob
what?
like, most popular, like, it has arcade games, for example, like SpongeBob Patty Pursuit, right, for the young
hell
generation.
yes.
Pac-Man
£5 a
Royal.
month for that? Hell yeah.
Yeah, Pac-Man Party Royale, Sonic Racing, Oceanhorn, Frogger and Toy Town, Frogger and Toy Town, right? Lego
Oceanhorn?
Brawls. Oceanhorn was a sort of Legend of Zelda sort of like clone, but it was really successful.
Okay. But not
Rayman
like
Mini.
Assassin's Creed. Cyberpunk.
okay,
No.
yeah.
These are all phone games.
Yeah, but
like, they're all
phone games aside, Google has their own version called the Play Pass, and they have Stardew Valley. They have Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic. They have the DLC game. I forgot what the name of it was. They have a bunch of full version games. Does the arcade have any full games, or is it just ad free gaming?
I don't really know.
Probably
So there's no
just
way to see a list of every single game. You literally have to scroll through
Okay.
the whole list of things to actually see them. But I'm not seeing anything that would be as on the same level as maybe PUBG or, as you say, Stardew Valley.
They don't
I
have
don't see
PUBG
anything
Mobile.
like that.
Not
I don't
interested.
know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I don't have a list of the games that were released.
Gotcha.
But as I'm scrolling down, I'm not seeing anything
Oh,
that's.
I'm assuming they want to start
Massive.
getting into the video game streaming like xCloud style if they're
Hmm.
making it so hard for xCloud to get on the platform.
Yeah.
I don't know if xCloud is allowed on Android. I haven't seen any news about that, to be honest with you.
Dunno.
But
I'd be surprised if they're not.
and I wonder how GeForce got, because they had the GeForce streaming, didn't they, as well, for a while before Stadia did.
I mean, it's still there.
Whatever they called that.
I don't
Still
remember.
around,
It's
is
been
it?
very
I don't
up
think
and
anyone
down.
uses it, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. You don't like 2 people. Seriously, 1 in 13 million people use it. Stadia. No. Anyway, so on the whole, do we think this is Epic being sulky about paying 30%, and they're just using the cover of, oh, this is wrong, it's not fair for competition, yada yada yada? Or is that just a cover for we want more money? Because the internet is kind of split. It seems like most people, I see a lot of people on Twitter, notoriously, usually negatively biased Twitter, isn't it? It's always that way. Everyone's saying, oh, well, they have exclusivity on the Epic Game Store. It's,
I mean,
okay,
Gamers get screwed
that's a
over more than
different
anyone.
catfish,
So.
all the same, isn't it? That is actually something I see quite a lot actually on Twitter. Is people saying, "Oh, Epic make you have exclusivity. What's the difference?" And let me tell you, for those morons that they don't understand the difference, you can be exclusive to Epic Game Store by choice, or you can choose not to and go to Steam or anywhere else on a PC. Microsoft, if you can imagine Microsoft, that they had the same limitations as Apple, there would be no Steam, there would be no Origin, which is actually, I'm suddenly for this actually. If it means no Origin,
They fucked up.
we've made a mistake here.
Let's just go back
Go
in
Apple.
time.
Go Apple.
No, to be fair, you don't even have to do that anymore. it's not something new.
There's a
Like
difference, yeah.
exclusivity deals have always happened. There's tons of PS4 exclusivity deals. Like, why are you not yelling at Sony? It's
And that's what I understand these kids on Twitter. It's always Twitter, it's always them, it's always kids. It's like
Because PC
there's
gamers
a
aren't
big
used
difference.
to it.
Choice.
For some odd reason.
There's the word choice. You can choose going to exclusivity deal, which has got incentives, or you can go to Apple, where you have no choice, no incentive, other than if you want to be on their platform, you have to do it their way. That's the difference, kids on Twitter.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, it'd be different if Apple was
Just
like,
put it
look,
down here.
we'll give you a chunk of change if you put your stuff on us only.
Going back to your question though, Lou, in regards to if they're doing it to dodge the 30%, it's hard. You'd like to think that they're doing it for the good of the consumer. You know,
At the
'cause
same time,
they've
it's
done a
their
lot
product.
for indie.
Like, why not?
Yeah,
But will they not lose a lot in the long run? Like, we know Apple likes to drag out their cases for many years.
Oh,
We know this. So the lawsuit itself will cost millions
yeah, for sure.
over the
And-
years. So will
I
they,
mean-
like over 30%, do you think that they're willing to risk millions for 30%? Because they're not
not a big
losing.
company,
They're not
but
losing
10%.
70%. They're not losing 30% here. They're losing 100%. Like, they're not gaining anything off the Apple Store itself. So they were gaining 70%, they're now they're not getting anything. So it's a lose-lose, you know, if they did. So I don't think it's money that they're doing this for. I don't think it is.
Change.
Yeah, I think it is actually a fight for change.
And I think that's
And
fair.
Tim
Like,
Sweeney's
if you're, this shit's not development and all this stuff. It's not cheap. So like, if you work hard
Yeah.
to try and make your money, you should be able to make your money, and you should be able to do that any way you decide, whether that's through the Apple Store
And everyone
or not.
complains, don't they? Everyone complains, gaming's too expensive these days. Games is like 70 quid. It's too expensive.
Gonna be
This is
about
why,
70
because everyone's
quid
taking a 30% cut.
70 or
So they've got to
80
raise the
next gen?
price to get their money they need to fund the damn thing in the first place. I mean, I don't feel sorry for people like EA who ram it full of microtransactions.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
there's
they don't. I don't get
There's
any
a way
side
to
of
do
me,
it,
but
it's not
Dead
EA's
Space
way.
you know,
3.
and- oh my god, and
jeez.
Ubisoft with Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Like, holy shit! But
Valorant with its $99 or $95 skin pack and 200.
they get 100% of that.
Oh,
anyway,
don't
they
even
go
start
for
about
mouse to
skin
either.
packs. You should look at League of Legends. That's insane for skin
League of
packs.
Legends has always been like pretty overblown
I
with
know.
their prices.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they're doing it right. They have their own store. If
Yeah.
you want their stuff, you go to them. Nowhere else. They don't
Yeah.
take any cuts from somewhere. No one
but
takes
that's
a cut out of
easier
their profit.
because
It's
it's
all them.
only it's in its own ecosystem. It's not on Steam. It's not on Epic.
Yeah.
It's literally its own ecosystem, and it's big enough to be in its own ecosystem. So
Makes more money than I think.
Which you would have thought Fortnite would have been,
Yeah.
right? You would have thought Fortnite would have been on Android, but clearly not. They moved to Google Play Store. But Tim Sweeney, he's obviously the one who's pushing for this the most. He bought a lot of land to protect it from being built on. So it's not like the first time he spent a lot of money for a moral, conscious reason. So I think obviously there is money to be made here. It benefits everyone in the money front, except for Apple, obviously. So I'm all for it, I think. I'm amazed someone's actually got the balls, to be honest, because I think Apple have got away with it for so long, because no one dares attack them with a lawsuit, because they have probably got buildings, multiple
became
level
standard.
buildings, just full of lawyers in suits like this with a pencil ready.
It's not even
Somebody
just that.
suits
It's
ready.
it's complacency as well. Like, it just becomes a norm. People just get used to it, and they're like, "Pff, it's just the way it's done." Like I said, it's like the whole when people say about exclusivity, and my argument with it is like we've had exclusivity years. It's not necessarily a bad thing because it forces people like. So obviously going back to like the whole console thing, PS4 has had amazing games and Xbox hasn't. Now for the next generation, Xbox need to pull their finger out for that. So it's a different type of competition. Yeah, it sucks the exclusivity thing, but it is a different type of like people just get
at
complacent.
the end of
with
the
shit.
day, it's a choice.
And it's the same with Apple.
Exclusivity is a choice, and there's nothing wrong with having choices. Apple doesn't give you a choice. That's how it kind of books down to me.
Yeah, and it's nice that someone finally has the cojones to take them on. Let's hope this brings about a good change for Apple, and Spud won't have to give his phone back because Apple's gone defunct, out of business, and has to return all his equipment that no longer
I mean,
works.
if I would give Apple phone back too if I can't download Fortnite, like I don't blame them.
Right? Like, what am I going to spend my weekend doing if I can't play Fortnite on my phone? Like, what else is there to do in life? Like, why would I use my computer? I've got 2080 Ti, but I don't care. I want to play on my phone.
Everyone's got phones, right?
Yeah, so that's it from us today. That's our thoughts on the whole thing. Of course, there are opinions. So all the lawyers at Apple right now that are looking particularly busy. If there's one that's slightly free in thought, I'm going to start suing for libel and slander. All of this is opinions. Opinions. We haven't got any lawyers yet, but we will, and we'll take you down, just like Tim Sweeney.
He will. I won't.
He
I'm
will.
not interested. I'll give you 30% to leave me alone.
Spud's the figurehead for the channel. I have nothing to do with it. I'm just here as a guest. So please send all legal
What?
paperwork his direction.
Hello?
He's the one with the Apple phone.
But
Trust me, it's him.
yeah, but that's our thoughts. The usual outro. Who wants to take a piece? We're going to do this in the most non-rehearsed form ever. Free flow, rapid fire. Jenkins, start.
Like, subscribe.
Spud, he's over that way. We won't be actually in the video. I don't know. I'm going to edit that later. Spud.
Leave a comment down below on what your opinions are on the Epic Store situation.
Abyss. He's going to be that way. I don't know. Do you not remember what's left?
No.
Subscribe for more.
He said
And we'll see you on the
subscribe.
next video. Unless we get sued. Please don't sue us. Please.
Hope
Right,
you enjoyed.
that'll do.
Fuck Apple!